Clean off the screen here. To another live stream tonight on the Plains Division. As always, I'm going to wait for a couple minutes, let everyone get settled in. But for those of you who are here, today we're going to be talking about, first we'll go over a little bit of scenery. I'm not going to do sort of like a how-to tutorial, but I do have some things to update you guys on. And I have much of the layout now is in like multiple phases of completeness. So I just sort of want to walk around and talk about how I get from point A to point B, basically, and hopefully you guys find that interesting. Of course, I'll do a normal pre-recorded video on that at some point as well, but we'll start with that. And then thanks to Carl, who joins us on the live stream every week, he has given me some ideas to think about with the industry area. So we might do a bit more switching again, and of course we'll just run some trains as well. So now that I'm starting to get into the rhythm of things, you can just generally expect sort of just a quick briefing on what's happened on the layout, and then we'll get into running trains or doing something. Today, the doing of things will once again consist of running trains, but sometime I'll have to get into sort of like a work along with me sort of mode where we show doing scenery in progress. So anyway, it looks like some people have showed up here, so I'm going to go ahead and start and just talk about how I get, as I already said to some of you, from point A to point B when it comes to scenery. Of course, I'm not particularly qualified to talk about this yet because I don't have that much scenery completed. In fact, none of it is done. There's still, even the areas that look scenic, I need to do some details on those. But really quick, for example, let's take a look over here in Crawford. Crawford is mostly complete. The only area that's really done with scenery here, or close to it I should say, because again there's still details to add, but this little corner down here we have the overpass, we have just the dirt lot out here, and then you'll see the ballast is in, but I haven't even weathered the track yet. But a lot of people have been asking how I work on the topography on my layout. So the first thing I start off with, if we take a look over here, is paper. So this is let me walk around and show you some things. But obviously you can see that I have some construction paper, and all I've done here is put in some profile boards, just pieces of cardboard, much like what we have right here. So I'll take pieces like this, cut them out in the shape that I want, and then create the skeleton underneath it. And you can almost see some of those, like there's obviously a profile board right here, so I'll have to hide that somehow. And then I use a hot glue gun and then put my paper on top of that and just sort of drape it on top, and then it holds in place. So that's the first step there. What you'll also notice on this section here is that it's kind of shiny now, and the reason for that is I have painted it in wood glue. So I'm using, actually I don't remember, so I'll show you guys here in a second. But the wood glue on top helps not only stiffen the paper, but it also waterproofs it to some degree. So then when I come in with my sort of wet scenery materials, as they're drying, it doesn't sag or anything. And in most places this is stiff enough. You'll see there's a little bit of flex there, but honestly I'm not going to be stepping on my scenery. So most people, you'd probably put a hard shell on that. I don't really care because nothing's going to happen to it. But some of the seams and stuff that I think will show through once I put my dirt down, I'll be sure to cover that up. So really quick, before we get ahead of ourselves, I talked about the construction paper. Oh, sorry guys, sorry. So again, you see more of that here. And then also, I talked about wood glue. So first thing is the, let me bend down here. Oh, still got you guys on the tripod. So I'm using this sort of stuff. This is a big roll of painter's paper. I got this from Lowe's. It's about 3 feet long, and I just cut off sections of it, and I will never run out because you can see that's a massive roll of paper. So this stuff is awesome, and that's what I use to start all of my scenery. I also mentioned that I use cardboard, so there you take a look in that corner there. You'll see a better look of how I do the cardboard profile boards. I don't have enough in right here because I'm working on creating a removable panel so I can access the tunnel. And then I don't remember what wood glue I use, but let's take a look. It's Titebond Premium Wood Glue 2, whatever that means. So I just got a big jug of this. It's pretty cheap. And then I just sort of paint all of the paper that you see like that. That gets painted in wood glue, and then it turns sort of a yellowish color like you see here. So once that's complete, then what you'll see is I've gone in and then started to, in this section at least, this is sort of the next step. I've gone in and patched up any seams or gaps or anything that I think needs to be smoothed out. And for that, I am using Sculptamold, which is a pretty versatile material. It hardens sort of rough unless you smooth it out as it's drying. It's a kind of coarse surface. So what I haven't done yet, now that this is all dried, is I need to come in with a sanding block and just sort of smooth that all out. But what you don't see was there's originally a seam here. There were also a couple gaps and stuff, so that's been filled in, and now this is hardened. Even though it's really thin, that sort of strengthens that area, and now it'll be ready for some dirt on top of that, and then more scenery, of course. Okay, so then once that's done, and you'll see that elsewhere I've started to do that too, like on these rock cuts, which I'll talk about in a second. You'll see along the backdrop, in some of the corners where there were holes or whatever, even up on this corner as well, I've patched those with Sculptamold. That's now dried, and once that's in place, what I'm going to do now is start working on the faces of the rock cuts. For the first rock cut, you'll see over here, this is the one along the curve. This is also the rock cut that actually doesn't exist in the actual Crawford Hill because there's not a track up there on the real one. But you'll see this is just Sculptamold basically slapped onto the side here, and you can see it's got a pretty nice texture to it. It looks like cut rock for the most part. So I'm going to keep this in place because I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out, but it's actually really difficult to get this sort of texture, I've found. So I've turned away from using Sculptamold as my rock cuts and just decided to keep this one down here because it's kind of a standalone unique cut. But for the rest of it, the rest of the rock cuts I'm going to do in 3M Patch Plus Primer, and I'll talk about that in a second. And you'll see that that's obviously not the color it's going to be. I still need to paint this here, but I'll be working on that. So anyway, all that is to say that once I fill in all the seams with Sculptamold, I start then working on the rock cuts. Of course, I haven't really done that yet. But in areas where I don't need to do rock cuts, I will just start on the scenery. And to do that, I sift on a layer of dirt like you see here. So you can see this stuff, there's a dirt texture. It's kind of difficult to see, but what I like about it is that once it's dry, it's easily sandable, so you can create patterns in it. And as it's drying, I like to sift in ballast like you see here in sort of uneven patterns. And you can quite clearly see the tire tracks there from the maintenance of way vehicles. So what I do for that, I'll bring you guys down here just so you have an idea. So all the dirt that I do, dang it, sorry, the dirt, good lord, starts as plaster of Paris. So it's just this dry compound, right? So this plaster of Paris is just white powder basically, and then I put it in a bottle, sort of like what we've got here, just an empty shaker bottle. And this is pretty white right now, but what I'll add to it then are tempera powder paints. So I have brown, yellow, and black. So there you see there's brown, yellow, black. I tend to use mostly yellow and black with just a hint of brown. It's pretty red. Anyway, that's what I do for my dirt mixture, and then I just sift it on, put in some ballast, and I know I'm running through this really quickly, but I just want to give everyone a sense of what I do. And then for grass, I use static grass. So you'll see once the dirt and stuff is done, I'll then go on with another layer of grass, and then another layer of glue, and then I put the static grass down. I apologize, I seem kind of scatterbrained, but I'm talking and reading your comments, so anyway, I tend to use Let me show you most of my grass on the sun right now, but I really like this stuff. So anyway, that's pretty much my scenery process. And then for the trees, I'm using Scenic Express Super Trees with Super Leaf. So that's how I get that look there. And I still want to touch this area up back here. I like the tree line, but you can see that it's kind of naked underneath the trees. There's not an obvious delineation between the access road and the tree line. So I'm going to have to grind up some twigs or something and put them down there. Okay, so enough with that. Hopefully that explanation was good for anyone who had questions. This is a good look here. You kind of see all the processes at work. Here's some paper that's been hot glued now down onto the cardboard profile boards. I go over it with the wood glue like you see here. I patch anything with either some sort of plaster or Sculptamold. You'll see some Sculptamold there as well to harden things. And then I go over it with a sifted plaster of Paris dirt mix, and then static grass, and then trees. And these trees are actually, these are Ponderosa pines that I made those out of Scenic Express Super Trees and 2mm grass fibers is how I did that. And really quick, let me talk about what I have been doing this week, and then we will get to running some trains. So this will all be in the layout update, so I guess there's no point in me saying it right now, but I will anyway. So you'll see here, maybe you guys haven't been able to take note of this, but this originally didn't have this cardboard facing on it. So as I started to put on the Sculptamold material, I realized that even the waterproof paper started to warp. So I put on some cardboard structures here, and then you can see I finished off the edges and all that with tape and Sculptamold. And now I'll go in and do the rock cut facing to it. So this is pretty accurate for the actual Crawford Hill. You'll see there's an interior rock cut as well. So now I need to go over the face of those with this 3M Patch Plus Primer material. I like to use it for everything. And you can see that you can get some pretty good textures with it. This is just a little sample patch I made. I don't think the actual rock cuts are going to be this heterogeneous, if you will. There's quite a bit of variety here, so it's going to look more like what you see in here and here, and then maybe a little bit of this on top. This sort of more jagged stuff there. But you can see the color's pretty close to what you'd get on Crawford Hill. I painted that with just some white and tan, kind of lightly. So anyway, I'm happy with the way that is coming along, but that'll go along there, and then of course dirt or grass and trees all around as well. You'll see I'm also starting this road here. There will be a grade crossing just like on the real Crawford Hill. And then I think that's really it. Another thing that I'm working on is the tunnel portals. You'll see there are a couple of feet in there on either side of the tunnel. So what I'm going to do is then put a number of ribs over the top of that. So by ribs I mean basically just the profile of the portal. Something sort of like this, and I'll put a number of those in series on top of those feet there. And once I glue those in place, I'll then on the inside of the ribs I'll put some paper in strips to get the whole interior pretty much covered, and then I'll go over that with Sculptamold, and it should harden, and then we should get a nice curved tunnel portal. So anyway, yeah, someone asked why I don't use real dirt. I actually originally, some of the stuff you see in Crawford was real dirt from Cajon Pass that I sifted in some of that plaster of Paris compound in. But it just, in indoor lighting it tends to get darker, and then it also gets a shade darker when you glue it. So I was using some real dirt. I mixed that in for texture, but the majority of the color came from the plaster of Paris, lightening it up. And I know there's many ways to do that, but part of the reason is I don't have a lot of good dirt material that's readily available. I mean, obviously I can go into my backyard, but it's not really the color that I need. Crawford has a very distinct light dusty tan color. So the easiest way for me is just to mix up the plaster of Paris, and if you sift it really nicely and then you put a bit of really fine ballast in there, you can get some really nice textured dirt. So it's really tough to see on the live stream, but if I got some good photos of the layout close up, you'd see the nice texture of the dirt. So it looks really realistic, and it is synthetic, but it's really easy to mix up, and it gets you a nice realistic light color. So anyway, that's actually, I think Andy mentioned something about Joe Fugate. That was having to do with the backdrop, but I got the idea from Joe Fugate on the dirt. It's I think it was called zip texturing. He sort of like revived that scenery method, and I've sort of just revised it a little bit to my liking. So anyway, hold up, guys. I'm just getting through some of your comments. So anyway, yeah, that's my explanation on dirt and some of the scenery stuff. And then, yeah, you guys, some of you have already caught on that I have this Canadian National Tier 4 unit here. And some of you probably have already seen this, so be sure, if you're interested, I'm on Facebook as well. I mean, my primary outlet is YouTube, but on Facebook I am, it's at Railfan220, or the page is called BNSF Plains Division Layout, or something like that. So check that out, and then I'm Railfan220 on Instagram as well. So we're going to take a look at this in a second. This is from the third run. This is actually my dad's locomotive he just ordered. This is Scale Trains, as you guys have caught on to. And Scale Trains make absolutely the best locomotives on the market, I have to say. So you can see we have Scale Trains Tier 4 there, Scale Trains -9 right there, and then over here we have two more Tier 4 units from Scale Trains hooked up together. And then some of you guys have noticed the reefer here. This is not complete yet. I need to patch and move that up, and I only have this tag right here is only about half done. So I need to finish this quadrant and then do this quadrant and then the whole other side. So quite a bit to do. All right, and then I also have some new cars. I don't remember if I had this last week or not, but I got another Canada hopper. I got this UP hopper as well, so that's a repaint. And then Procore cylindrical hopper, that I need, well, all these I'm going to weather and sell, but those need the trucks repainted to match the modern prototype. And then let me check, I think I got something else. Just sticking into the staging room here, we have Canadian National boxcar and then ADM tanker. So again, you guys are probably going to see this all in a layout update as well. But any ideas what we should do now? The Scale Trains unit, talk about that just for a second, and then I actually want to do a bit more switching, and of course we'll run some trains. So okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll fire things up. I have some things to talk about regarding this locomotive. Oh, and then actually, yeah, someone just brought up decals, and I picked up, finally, the two sheets of decals that I wanted for the Walthers Gevo there. And you're probably wondering, why do I need two sheets? But many of you BNSF modelers are well aware that the front of the GE AC locomotives, they have this sort of BNSF specific decal on the front pilot on either side. So you see that little like orange and black deal. That does not come with the Gevo data sheet. So this is most of the warning labels I need, but this sheet has the front pilot decals I need, but it lacks all the data decals. So these together are enough to do the Walthers unit there. So I'll get on to doing that pretty soon. I also need to install all the details. So I wanted to do decals first, then details, and then this should be a pretty cool looking locomotive once I weather it as well. So, all right, enough talking. We're 20 minutes in. You'll also see, hold on, not done yet, I have started finally to fill in the wall there. So you guys probably remember from last week that that was just sort of a hole, and you could see the the interior of the wall there. So now I have the next section of drywall up there. We've actually extended this wall twice, which obviously was not our plan, but things kept changing. So still got to add some plaster, but yeah, it's getting there. Yeah, and it is a little annoying. Someone just brought up those decals again. It's kind of stupid that I need to buy 2 of these to properly decal this. In the end, I'm not really saving much money getting the Walthers version versus like a full Intermountain unit with the full ESU. But I really like these Walthers units. So for me, it's worth it, and I get to put a little work in it. And in the end, it's going to be more detailed than an Intermountain. And all in all, it should still be cheaper. So let me grab the throttle. I'm going to set you guys up here, and then we'll fire things up and talk about this unit really quick. Ah, jeez. I don't want to give too much away though, because I still want to do a video on this and talk about the differences between the 3 runs of the Tier 4s that have been released so far. So, just a second. All right, hold on, guys. Yeah, that's a good one. He has been sitting for a while now. Someone asked on the Peninsula what percentage climb did I use. The lower level is like 1.5 to 1.7%. So this down here is climbing about 1.7%. Up here it's flat because this is the crest of the grade. But for most of the upper level, it's around a 2% climb, if not a little bit more. So that is my grade. And I've fired things up here. So I actually finally programmed my locomotive, so the sound should be a little better for you guys. Anyway, the third run of these units, not a ton's different. It does, I think, according to the manual, it has the version 5 look sound decoder in it. And the only problem I've had so far is that it won't let me do 3-point speed curves. So I have no way to change CV6, which is the same on the Stash 9, even after I change the CVs to select the 3-point speed curve versus the full speed curve, if you know what I mean. So there's the option where you can change almost each individual 28 speed steps. But I usually just use the 3-point speed curves because I don't have a loc programmer. And even when I select that mode, I can't change CV6, which is the mid voltage, but it's no big deal. I've gotten everything speed matched fine. You will see from here that the headlight's on, and then the one thing that's a little disappointing is that this is the third run of the locomotive and the ditch lights are still kind of crappy. And by contrast, the Dash 9 has fantastic ditch lights, so I don't know why they couldn't adopt that for this rerun. It was probably already in the works, but anyway, not a big deal. They're nicely bright when you're looking head on, but it's not obvious that they're always on. Something that also continued, this was from the second run, but you'll see that the back there, the radiator section, you can see that X bracing very clearly. So that's a cool little detail as well. And the Canadian National unit's awesome because it not only has marker lights, but you'll see that it has the see-through grates on the walkway there for ice and snow. Also has a rock pilot on the rear. So cool little CN, not little, it's a significant Canadian National locomotive. And again, that's my dad's. He's a big fan of Canadian National, as am I. It's a cool paint scheme, so it's good to have one of those. All right, so what we're going to do here is I've got our manifest freight, and now that we're done talking, I'm going to run this up the grade and then bring it across the reverse loop. and then we'll run this into the yard because I want to do a bit of switching, and then we'll just probably run a couple more trains as well. So anyway, yeah, if you guys have any questions, continue to throw them at me. Anything you want me to do in particular, let me know as well. But I'll just get to it here. We'll run some trains. And first thing we've got to do is actually pick up a few cars that I left down on the north end of Crawford over there. So let's get started. Yeah, good Lord. Steve asked how wide this section is here. This shelf right here, I think this is 16 inches deep. I gotta get on weathering some things too. I didn't have anything to sell this week because I've been lazy. So now we need to pick up those cars there. Yeah, someone asked about the marker lights on the CN unit. They do work, so I'll show that in a second. They're damn near brighter than the ditch lights. And someone asked when I started model railroading. I assume that was directed at me, not someone else in the conversation. But I can't remember. I don't know. I was probably like 7 or 8 when I got my first Bachmann Amtrak set. And then I started a tabletop layout made out of 2 4x8s. And some of you guys, longtime subscribers, probably remember when I had a squeaky little voice, and that layout from probably like 5 years ago now at this point was when you last saw it. That was right in this room actually. So this used to have my old layout in it. And actually where we're standing right now, we would have been on the far end of the layout. So actually, if you want to have a little bit of fun, go back to some really old videos of mine where I have the tabletop layout here. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because it's incredibly embarrassing for me to like look back at myself, so I don't know why I'm encouraging you to. But anyway, the edge of the layout probably came out to like about right here. It was an L, so it went this way and then that way. And then I would have sat back in that corner and operated trains. So take a good trip down memory lane if you guys remember that, or if not, you can see how far the layout room has come. So anyway, we coupled our cars there, and now it is time for us to get up the grade. I want to show you the marker light first. Well, there's 2 of them, but we'll look at the front here. Sorry. It's very unwieldy to have a moving tripod in this room with wide feet, so just a second. Oh, I think I had the dimmers on. I'm stupid. So for marker light, I put it in reverse, so now it's in reverse, and then function 5 should do the marker light. So there you go. And that's pretty cool. So there we go. And let me fire up our -9, because we're going to need all the power we need to get up the grade here. And we'll get going anytime here. And then we're just going to run this up the grade, use the reverse loop, and then bring it back down here, and then put it in the yard somewhere here, because we got to do some switching. I think someone asked about the white line. All the high cube box cars, they have the white painted on the excess height. So there's the standard loading gauge box car. I don't remember what the exact height is, but anything above that is painted in white. Same's true on auto racks and things like that. So that's for excess height cars. That's my understanding at least. So, all right, here we go. Let's get out of town. Thank you, Terry. Quite the compliment. It's fun. Model rating's a bit of fun, I must say. I tried. I'll get another one in later. Hello, Hunter. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I know it's kind of tough to keep up with everybody's content. I certainly don't, even though I have a bunch of YouTubers that I like to follow. So it's no big deal. You can always go back and binge watch any videos. I am a huge fan of scale trains. They can do very little wrong in my eyes. Now, I am a little biased because they pretty much produce all the models that I want. I'm a big GE fan, so they've done the Tier 4 model very well, and I needed a Heritage 2-9, so they cater to my needs, and but it's not all just bias. They do things very well. The rotating bearing caps are impressive. All of the proportions and all of that is fantastic. It's just overall modeling is very good from the scale train stuff. So I recommend getting the scale trains UP locomotives. I think you said Tier 4s, so for sure I would do that. I'm very loyal to Intermountain as well, but I can't bring myself to buy the Intermountain Gevo Tier 4 unit over scale trains. But again, Intermountain might be my favorite model railroad company, but scale trains has to have the best products, in my opinion. Random truck appearing out of nowhere. Where are we gonna put you? Dang it. So for everyone who wasn't here earlier, you'll see there's quite a bit of random patches of white. Those are that's the Sculptamold that I've been filling in cracks and stuff with. So scenery is on its way. It'll be here very soon, but not quite yet. I need to work on the rock cuts first, and then it'll be on to normal scenery. You'll see I'm also filling in the edges here where we put our little country road. I need to fill in the edges like you see there and sort of smooth that out, and then again we'll start some scenery pretty soon. So I need to rip this off probably. I'll just hold it for now. Thanks guys for the compliments. Glad you guys are enjoying the layout. I really like these live streams. Hopefully you guys do too, for a couple reasons really. One, it gives me sort of some structured and scheduled time to get down here and run trains on the layout. Not only that, it encourages me to clean it up, which doesn't always happen. So anyway, it's good for me. It gives me something to look forward to, and it also pushes me to make a bit of progress every week, because I know that you guys are going to be here to watch, which really shouldn't be any different from like a normal layout update, but since layout updates aren't scheduled, that's sort of on my own time, I don't have the same pressure. So it's a good sort of pressure, if you know what I mean. And I need to find some scissors, because you guys will see I'm opening up. These were my temporary tunnel portals, but I'm working on creating a curved tunnel liner, so I needed some access, because before I wanted to put the liner in, I of course need to paint the rails, which I've already done, and then I need to put down ballast and all that. So alright, I'll just leave that dangling for now, and I won't forget that. And let's find our train again, because we got to bring this back to the yard, as I mentioned. So hopefully you guys can imagine what this will look like with scenery and with the backdrop finally all painted. Backdrop's not done up there either, so lots to do, but should be pretty cool looking. I need more train cars too. See you, Steve. Thanks for stopping in. Someone asked about scale trains running on DC without speed matching. I don't really know about that, honestly, because I know that the voltage and like the voltage that the locomotives start up at on DC, as well as the max voltage, is all different versus DCC. So I don't really know how they would run on DC. Sorry about that. And yeah, someone talked about the KCS Tier 4 Chivo. Those things look pretty cool. I know they're pretty fresh out of the factory, and I like the paint scheme on those. So I have to say I'm a big fan of the angled exhaust, but I think they're all pretty cool. Also, maybe unpopular opinion here, but I think the Tier 4s are actually some of the best sounding locomotives out there. And some of you are going to laugh, but I think you should take the time to listen to them in Notch 8. They sound way better in Notch 8 than Tier 2 and Tier 3 Gevos. Although I'll say that I think in the lower notches, your older GEs sound better, but Notch 8's definitely better on these Tier 4 units. Because they have a scream to them. Their turbos have a very interesting howl and reverberation to them. There. Alright, so let us... Sorry, dealing with the turnouts down here. There we go. Someone asked about the two-tone BN hopper. This was... There are a few of these cars out there that look like that. They have sort of a... almost a teal patch to them on the lower half. So that's what I was trying to model there. I'll set you guys down. Let me neglect you for a bit. Sorry about that, guys. My bad. Lots of jerky motions. I have to make sure I don't wreck my trains over here. So let's head over to the yard real quick. Damn it. So I'm parking this guy down here, far side of the coal train, but I'm gonna have the coal train leave because it's a little over length right now. So I'm gonna foul a bunch of switches right here. Hey there, Carl. I talked earlier, glad you could make it. Earlier in the stream, I kind of went over the scenery process and what I've done this week. Of course, I'll have all of that in a layout update as well. So, someone asked the brackets. Hold on. So the upper shelf is 16 inches deep, which is exactly what the longer portion of the brackets is. I don't remember what the short portion is. So I kind of inverted the brackets, but they're working quite well. So. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is going. Hopefully it doesn't short. I feel like I should have done more research because I'm not sure I'm a fan of the Digitrax auto reversers. Oh, it worked. They're just finicky. I don't know. Like, it works 90% of the time, but then there's like some weeks where it just does not work for me. I don't know why. I'm actually just gonna park this guy here. No, I'm not. What am I doing? All right, hold on. I gotta think this through because I want to do some switching, but I wanted to move this guy out of the yard just so we could move stuff around. Not that it's a problem. I mean, we can park it in the yard. It's just I didn't want to drop the DPU off. So anyway, actually, I'm going to keep this guy moving along up the grade, but we're going to focus on our manifest freight because I want to do some switching down here at the industries once again. So anyway, let me run to the other side, make sure the turnouts are all set, and we'll get this guy on its way. And yeah, Carl, it does have adjustable current settings. Of course, I've messed with it before to get it to work. And again, it's working tonight, and I don't know what that's about. But it's really, it has a lot to do with, I'm sure, the weight of the train as well as how speed matched the locomotives are. So the less current they draw, I think the better. I think the problem I was having is that they were drawing too much current and tripping the auto reverser too many times, which is an issue if it's set too low, I think. So anyway, someone asked about the signaling system I use. I don't have signals in yet. So for now, if I were to do operations, it would be track warrant control with dark territory. So no signals right now, but I'm working on it. In fact, let's get this guy moving. You'll see this is my control panel. Down here, you'll see I only have the beginnings in right now, but you'll see my sub buses are tied in at top, and I just have them daisy chained right now. And then all the stuff is down at the bottom right now. So that's lights and DCC system and power supply. And I don't have any of the control panels yet. So I need to work on that, but sort of one step at a time. And honestly, signals are not my highest priority, so what the hell? Don't know what that was about. Decided not to run. I mean, the ultimate plan, this is a question from Anthony. He's asking about the signal system. Ultimate plan would to have it be automated, yes, in a sense, but I want to have a dispatcher, but I don't know. Don't know if that'll honestly ever happen, or if it would make sense, because operations in this layout can't really happen with too many people. It's kind of a small room once all said and done, so you can't have too many operators, but I don't know. So yeah, it would be automated. There would be block detection and things like that. I've already mapped out what I need to get on the panel and how that would work, but I just haven't invested in those pieces yet. And then the problem, yeah, Carl, back to the auto reverser. I have tried. It's just really finicky. The range is kind of sensitive because I have tried to do a higher trip setting, but the problem is then it doesn't detect the locomotive, so then it just shorts out. But it'll also short out if it's too low because it'll just trip over and over again. Ow. Yeah, and right now I don't even have my turnouts hooked up, so it'll happen just slowly. Damn it. Alright, so I got this guy moving along. And let's rearrange some of this. And I need to think about this. So for now, I'm just going to set you up here as I sort of plan this out. Had our first derailment. I really thought I had speed matched these things, but the DPU here is pushing pretty hard. which helps going upgrade, but when we're on level ground or going downgrade, it was pushing those rear cars off, so. Alrighty, I'm gonna set you guys on the tripod, and I'll probably just treat you to some silence for a second, but the lowest point on the lower level, which would be the staging yard or the yard you see out here, is like 38 inches, so it's pretty short, but we had to start fairly low so we could make it up to the top of the upper level. And someone asked if I have any 4-axle locomotives. Right now I don't. I used to. But I need to work on that really because I want to do some switching with some 4-axle power. So I got to think about what I want here. I'm going to run, I think, 3 cars at the brewery. So we're going to grab that reefer car there. We're going to drop that off inside the building. We're going to need a couple of just normal dry boxes for supplies. Those will sit outside. There's 2 spots for that. So I don't know, maybe we'll take the CN. We will need a couple of grain cars for the dry transfer facility, and then 2 more box cars. So what is that? So we'll take the first 4 cars there. Then we need to grab the reefer and what am I talking about? Yeah, okay, so reefer and then the beer box car. We don't really need the reefer, but I'll just do it anyway. I'm just thinking out loud now because I gotta cut some cars here. And I think I want to do that with our Dash 9. I know that sounds weird, but let us cut this out of consist, so. Alright. Just bear with me here, and we should be switching in no time. God damn it. Thanks for joining us, David. Glad you could make it for a bit. Someone asked again about the CNGvo. This is my dad's unit. He just picked this up recently, so it is to stay here on the layout, but I technically didn't buy it, so. All right. So for anyone who's curious, I think I've showed this before, but this is the ESU system. This is the consist I have for these 3 units. I actually just deconsisted them, but I've changed my mind on how I want to do this. So you can see 6225, which is the trailing unit there. I'm going to add locomotives now, and I want this guy. That's the CN unit, as well as our -9, which I haven't renamed yet. So that's there. Should be good. So that's all it takes. Someone asked about power blocks. Right now, the layout's not broken up into power blocks because, well, one, I only have 1 booster right now, and the control panel is not complete, so I don't have my sub buses broken into sectors or anything. And I don't have like a power router or anything, or whatever they're called. I can't remember. Like the Digitrax PM42, I know that can take a single booster and break it up into power districts, but I don't have anything like that yet, so, but I do plan on it. Again, once I get the control panel a little further along, and I am just doing some janky switching here because I don't have an uncoupling tool that works consistently. Edit this. I'm going to drop 6625 and move from consist, save. Alright. I'm just going to move these out of the way so we can do a bit of switching more easily. All right, so now let's get to switching real quick. We're going to take our -9 here and take this cut of cars from here onward. So well, yeah, it's pretty empty yard right now, so I mean the car's got to move somehow. Normally I would bring them over in chunks, but I just want to get these up to the industries real quick. I'm not really going to do it in a logical order either, but I just want to move these. God, this is a terrible tripod. No, I knew you were. It is fun to just be able to do really whatever you want. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the operating scheme, honestly, for what I would do here in the yard. I still want to rearrange the throat of the yard. Oh, I forgot to switch. I was talking. But yeah, as for like moving the trains over to the classification or the classification bowl here, which isn't much of a bowl. It's like 3 tracks, and all in all, it's quite a bit less trackage than I have for arrival departure. So, not a ton of space, but Someone asked how long it'll take to do scenery on the layout. I don't know, probably quite some time, but I'm really on a roll right now, so I'm focusing on scenery on the upper level first, and we should see some really good scenery in the next couple of weeks at least. And then I'll move on to the lower level. So I think once I'm in the groove, it should go pretty quickly. It'll just be a matter of getting all those details installed as time goes on, because I probably won't get everything finished 100% in a spot. I'll have to come back to it a few times, but... One, two, three, one, two, three. Alright, I'm just going to leave these cars here. Sorry guys, I left you down here. So just so everyone's aware, I'm going to probably take all these cars to the industry area. We'll take those up this way. And then once I spot them in place, I think that's probably going to be it for the night. I thought we might get to running more trains, but maneuvering around takes a bit of time. So someone asked about running the stack train. We'll do that next time. I've got all EMD power on it right now, so I know that'll make some people happy. Yeah, and I really do need some more cars, Caleb. Thanks, man. Weber model railroad is here. It's good to see. Brady asked how many trains I plan on having in the future. I don't really know. That's a great question. And I missed Dennis's question or comment. Thank you for showing up. I'm glad you guys enjoy this and get a little bit out of it. So I'm always glad to hear that you enjoy it. Not that I need all positively filtered comments, but it's nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll be sure. That'd be awesome if you do some streams. I'll be sure to check in on those. You got a cool layout as well, so. Oh yeah, but back to the question about how many trains I'll run. I don't know. Your mind tends to run wild and think you're gonna have all the trains in the world because, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff to run, right? I could do. There's even different types of intermodal, right? So I have an intermodal train right now, but it needs to be longer. I could run half stacks, half piggybacks, domestic only, international only, all sorts of options. I'd love to have a grain train. So if I do something next, it's going to be a grain train, but yeah, gravel would be cool. If I modeled UP, I'd probably try to get a rock train. Also, I think if I modeled only like Minnesota, I would work on getting a taconite train or something of that sort because they run those occasionally. The only thing is they don't have, nobody models the BNSF ore cars unless I were to do one of the BNSF ore trains that oh, why did I come this way? I didn't finish the sighting. Never mind. But anyway, as I was saying, the BNSF still runs a few ore trains with those 3-bay Bethlehem hoppers, and I could run a train of those, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, definitely next thing would be an earthworm grain train. But I still need to get a solid number of cars in the manifest. But I keep buying and selling, so it's slowly growing. It doesn't seem like it. But as I'm buying and selling, I'm keeping one or two here and there every week. So that's one way to make money and grow your fleet. Alrighty. Now I've got to get smart about this. Move you guys. I'll set you back a little far here. I know it's not going to be great resolution or focus, but I hope you I hope you guys will be able to see roughly what I'm doing. I'll try to stay out of the way, and then I'll move you if anything important's happening. But yeah, as someone just said, it is kind of difficult to move around the room and work the throttle. All right, there we go. That's about as high as I can get you, by the way. So. So by the way, for everyone, last week I had 3 tracks at the brewery. That's not what I want to do. I still have 3 tracks at the brewery, but that furthest out track that we had tank cars on last week, I have turned that into a drill track at Carl's suggestion. Well, he suggested adding another track. I'm going to see what happens if I just repurpose that 3rd track. I'll be losing a few places to spot cars, but I think it'll help with operations. And as it is, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots over here, and then I still have 3 or 4 down there, plus a bit more for storage. So there's a lot to do switching-wise in here, even without that 3rd track. So I'm going to drop these box cars off first. Just get them out of the way. Because I have some grain cars I want to drop in the dry transfer. I haven't really ironed out what that track will really be, but right now it's just sort of a multi-purpose industry, sort of open air transfer, as I said. So you could see anything there from grain cars to tank cars, all sorts of stuff, even box cars. So, yes. Move you guys a little closer. Oh, hold on guys, I got you at 2%. I need to grab my charger. Ah, that was a close call. 1%. Got you though. All right, we're all good. Let me check comments really quick. All right, cool. All right, so now, as I said, I'm going to put these first 2 grain cars, I'm going to drop these off at the dry transfer facility. It's not really a facility as much as it is a spot. Yeah, Carl, I will extend it because you had a cool idea about having that go into the parking lot a little bit. Plus, that'll give me a little more length to operate with. Oh, yes. Teddy Bear 11, whose name I'm not sure I could ever remember, but you have the cool Montana Rail Link layout, if I'm not mistaken, and I have subscribed for some time now, so you certainly would know about bigger trains, or bigger layouts, I should say. The heck? Don't know why my lights are freaking out. Someone asked about the layout size. The total room, including staging, is like, what do I say? I think it's 12 feet by 28. I don't think I'm making that up. But if we exclude the staging room, which is about 4 feet deep, then it's only 24 long or so. And if we look forward here, I'll pan in a second, but we are looking at about a 10-foot width. So you can see where that wall juts out there. Everything from here on back is only 10 feet wide, so it's a pretty small room, in all honesty. That's a good note. I can't fit high cubes under those, which I forgot. I know I seem like a noob picking up the cars and uncoupling, but when nobody's watching, I seem to have good luck with just a nicely sharpened pencil or a mechanical pencil. But last few times I've tried, it has not been fruitful, so I've just given up. All right, so now it is time to test out our repurposed, I should say, drill track, and I'll show you how that should work. Actually, I could have just done it right there. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm fouling the main line right now, but let's just pretend that I'm not. Yeah, dang it. I didn't think they would couple. There we go. All right, so here's what's going to happen here. I've now got a string of 5 cars behind me, 2 of which, let me show you. So those last 2 box cars, conveniently, they're the last 2. I need to drop those off at that warehouse there. But you can see that they're on a facing point spur there. But the spur off to that is off of our little siding here, so we need to go past that deal on another track. So we're going to use that third outside track, if that makes sense. Of course, you gotta switch the turnout, idiot. Just gonna pray that the switch points stay aligned. I usually don't have problems, but it's kind of miraculous considering I don't have ground throws in right now, so nothing's really holding them in place. What did you miss? Someone is asking. I don't know. I don't know if you were here when we started switching, but I ran the manifest down to the yard, and then I spent an inordinate amount of time picking up the cars that we needed for the industries here, and then I ran them up to Newport Junction, and so that's what we've been doing since then. And actually, the warehouse seems to work with the 60-footers. The doors are centered as is, but that's about all that would fit for sure. And here's my biggest limitation. You'll see, because I have 3 cars I need to run around here, but right now I only have space to run around 2, which is kind of stupid. So I think I'm going to have to rearrange things the more I play around with this. I mean, it does present a little challenge for the operator, but you would think that an industrial park would have a space to run around more than 2 cars. Because then I got to go back and run around that one. This is a Atlas model. Someone asked about what brand. I think. Yeah, I think the box was branded Atlas because, of course, they bought BLMA. So technically a BLMA model, but it was made after Atlas bought them. So. Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, everything, like, It's not like I didn't know that this would only fit a couple of cars when I put it in, but before you work around with it, you think, well, that's going to be fine. It'll just be a little extra work. But now it's not the extra work that bothers me. It just seems silly. Like I don't know. It seemed like the operating plan in this area would be more refined than that. Also, I don't know why my lights are flickering for some reason. Let me investigate that. All right. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you're enjoying. I always love watching your videos, so it's good to hear. It's pretty fun over here, honestly. I don't do a lot of switching. If I'm going to run trains down here, it's usually up the grade at Crawford, because I love me some Notch 8 action, but that stuff will be even more fun when I can actually have helper operations, so it might be worthwhile for me to get a little more practice down here, because this eats up a lot of time, but hello to Railstalker Productions. First time. I also love long trains, so my trains aren't that long right now, but as I accumulate more cars, it should be fun to run some longer ones. Because I kind of have two purposes for this layout, if you know what I mean. It's both, dang it, it's operable for one thing, as we see here. So there's actually some pretty decent operations. I'm not fully fleshed out yet with signals and the actual centralized command sort of operations, but it's built so that we should be able to run multiple trains with operators and things like that. However, the sort of the second purpose for me is doing trackside rail fanning and making videos and stuff like that, as well as photography. So even though our sidings might only accommodate a certain length of train realistically for operations, I'm happy to run longer trains, if you know what I mean. Because to me, that's what looks cool, it's fun to operate, and if I'm just doing that by myself, then why not? You know, I should be able to do whatever looks cool and what's fun to operate. It's a clumsy way to say that, but I'm kind of distracted. Alright, so we're gonna push this guy back into the warehouse. Yeah, that's true. I will admit I do spend some time thinking about either what could improve this layout, like an expansion of some sort, or what I'll do for my next project. When what I really need to do is focus on this. But I actually have been recently, so they've been oddly productive the past couple of weeks, even though it might not seem like it. It's just I work in such an annoying way. Okay, that was clumsy. But in my mind, I think, oh, there's all this like bulk work to do, and by bulk work, I mean, oh, I need to put the paper down, or I don't know, just sort of the big processes that sort of cover the whole layout, whether that be covering things with Sculptamold, stuff like that. When in reality, I push that stuff off because I think, well, that's going to take me a while, so I try to think of little things to do in a short period of time. And as I was saying, in reality, those big sort of simple projects take up not as much time as I think. Those are sort of the fast processes. When what really takes a lot of time is the detailed stuff, which is finishing up all the paper substructure like I showed you today, just sort of finalizing things before you get to scenery. And then honestly, the dirt and the grass and stuff, which seems more detail oriented, and it is in many ways, that seems to go quicker. So it's just annoying because I can't get my brain to think like that. I come down here and I often just like stand in the aisleway and think about what to do next rather than just doing something. But part of that's the fun. Honestly, it's the anticipation and the planning to me, which is really very rewarding. The execution, of course, is fun. It's sort of relaxing in many ways. But I used to think, well, I really want to just get to the process. You know, you always say, I just want to have that next step done, or I want the layout to look like this, and then I'll be pleased. But of course, by the time you get to that, then you want it to be just a little bit more complete. So it's a fun hobby for sure. The other thing is a lot of the stuff that I'm doing on my layout, I'm actually doing for the first time. So I think I tend to put a lot of thought into it just so I don't know. It's not something that's under my belt yet. So I'm sort of figuring it out as I go. And I like to do things as well as possible the first time, at least things that I'm proud of. I might take shortcuts when it comes to cleaning my room, but you know. Well, guys, I'm about to wrap up here. I just got to push this one car back to the warehouse, and then I'll be done. So I'm going to try to get to all of your comments here in a second, and then be sure if you have any last second things to mention or ask about, be sure to leave the comments below, or off to the side, I guess, for you guys. This has been fun. I know it's not really anything different from last time, but I think we had some good viewers tonight. You'll have to let me know what you think of Saturday night versus Friday night. I don't know what people's schedules are like, and I also have honestly very little clue what the live stream schedule is like for other model riveter YouTubers. So I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So it might be worthwhile to just rotate from time to time if that is really necessary for some people who want to see the stream. Of course, it's always uploaded afterwards, so you can watch it after. But yeah, I'll probably stick with Friday. If there's a lot of outcry for Saturday, then I can occasionally do a Saturday stream, but I'll be sure to let you know. I know this was sort of last minute. I've done that a couple times now, so I do apologize. But things pop up in the week, and I'm not going to say no to dinner. Which obviously didn't conflict with this stream since it starts at 9 o'clock for me, but it makes it difficult to set things up. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna run this to the yard now and park it, and then we should be done. So it's good to know. Looks like most people are saying Friday, so again, I had originally asked that question and we stuck with Friday, so that is what we will do. And yeah, good to know. Does Vinny's stream tend to end before mine, or does it overlap? I know a lot of people come from that. I could probably feed off of his stream. I was going to say something, I forgot. But yeah, we got a good hour 40 in, which is about as long as we've ever gone, so it was good. I enjoyed the switching. I think having that drill track in there rather than using that for tank cars made things a little smoother. And because those are the those are the facing point spurs. I said that wrong earlier. Since those are the facing point spurs, and I got to get around to the other side of the cars there, I think it's better to have fewer car spots down there than it is over here, if you know what I mean. So I think the balance of switching is a little bit better now. And there's actually, it's supposed to be a road right here. You can kind of see that. I've been ignoring that the whole time, but I guess I should blow my horn. Someone asked what number this is. This unit here is 4313, which right now is the only BNSF-9 that Scale Trains has released, but they have more road numbers and road names coming this summer. So this was like, I don't want to call it pre-production because it's not like a sample model, but they advanced ordered a few, I think about 200 or so. So these are early models, and the rest of them are coming this summer. I need to do a review on this locomotive, so I'll do that soon. I know other people have done that, but I still might as well. I have a video coming on my ESU system, even though I've had it for like a year and a half now, but better late than never. And I keep saying I'll do some rail fanning on the layout, so that'll happen. And then, of course, layout update as well. I want to get a little more done on the curved tunnel portal, and then I'll have a layout update. And then the layout update after that should have some actual scenery in it. And some pretty cool news. I have just finalized a trip with... It's kind of cool. We do this pretty much every year, and I know I'm kind of fortunate to have this, but both my dad and my grandfather are rail fans as well. So every summer we take a big week-long trip or so out to railfan. So this summer, we didn't actually take one last year, it didn't work out, but the 4 previous years we did. And this year we are going to fly to Portland, and then we will be from Portland working along the Columbia River Gorge. East, we'll hit Spokane, head through Sandpoint, Idaho, and then we're going to do both Glacier, so like up to Essex, and do the BNSF Northern Transcon out there. And then we will also be on the way on the way back, swinging across Montana Rail Link to the south, and then we'll meet back up where we started, or where we had already been, I should say, at Sandpoint, and then we'll track that back to Portland where we will fly out. So this is the first time we're taking a trip where we're flying out of the same place that we land, but it should be pretty fun. There's going to be lots of train action, and I'll have some rail fanning videos up, which I know that's not why most of you subscribe to this channel, but it's good prototype reference, and I, of course, enjoy getting out on the prototype rails. So yeah, there should be some pretty cool stuff to see. We've already done some of that, like we did Montana Rail Link. I can't say we've done all of it, of course, but I don't want to pretend like I've seen it all. However, we have been over that territory before. We did Livingston and Bozeman Pass, Mullen Pass, all the hot spots, and got some traffic. And we also did Columbia River Gorge, but we kind of got shut out because there were forest fires. So we're hoping to go back, get a bit more traffic on the Columbia River Gorge, and then hopefully some more traffic on Montana Rail Link as well. We only caught one train on Mullen Pass, but hopefully we'll get a couple more this time, and we'll see some new scenery up in Glacier National Park. So that will be in early June. Nothing for you to look out for anytime soon, but I just thought I'd bring it up. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you don't have any last minute questions here, then I'm just gonna wrap up. I really appreciate everyone jumping on the stream. It looks like there are a few more people on tonight than on the previous streams, and I really enjoyed it. So you'll have to let me know what you think about the balance of things. So far, all the action on this live stream, if you will, has been running trains, which I know everyone loves. But if you'd like some other stuff, like not really tutorials, I don't want to, that sounds pretentious when I say that, because I act like I know everything if I'm giving a tutorial, but I just meant like if you want to see, you know, doing some of the scenery stuff in progress as I work on it, we can do a bit of that. Sometimes that gets challenging and boring for you, I'm sure, but if there's something in particular you want to see, let me know as always. And we'll also always read or run trains. So someone asked really quick, last thing I'm going to say, asked what controller I have. This is the ESU cab control system. It comes with a Mobile 2 throttle, which is a really cool deal. It's basically a smartphone, but it has a big knob on it. Very ergonomic. Has a very nice responsive touch screen on it, and quite a few functions. So again, I'll be doing a review of this system and compare it to some of my thoughts on RailPro, which I am wholly unqualified to comment on because I've never used RailPro. But I think a lot of people draw comparisons between this system and RailPro, which in some regards is correct, and I think in others maybe they don't line up so well. So yeah, and someone mentioned the knob. It is huge. It's also motorized, so if I like manually press up, so I have this as speed step up. If I hold that, you'll see that the knob increases, which is kind of cool. It's stupid. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't need to, but I guess because it, I don't remember what the word for that is, potentiometer or whatever. It needs to be in the same spot. So you don't want to lose the position of the knob if you have to go back to it. Okay, guys, I'm just rambling now. So again, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy responding to your comments. Of course, love the compliments, but it's really just a good time. Hopefully you guys enjoy just hanging out and running trains. It's good for me just to get down here and relax. So it's a fun community, fun hobby, and we will be at it again next week. So tune in Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern per usual. Just remember, this week it was Saturday, but next week it'll be Friday. And we'll run some more trains. And hopefully I'll have some weathered cars to show you, some different stuff to update you on. And also, look out for a layout update. I'll have that probably tomorrow, if not, then the next day. So, all right. See you guys. Thanks so much.